beautiful people. My name is Princess, and I thought it'd be fun to do a video about having self-esteem as a Christian when it comes to work, dating, life, anything. A lot of times people think that these things are mutually exclusive. It's important to understand that you can have self-esteem and you can be a Christian and you can truly just go through life and actually see yourself as a wonderful, beautiful person, that you're allowed to be there and you are just as accepted and wanted and valuable. Let's just jump right into the video. Why I wanted to make this video is because even though I've made a couple videos about self-esteem and just like dealing with a lot of the information or misinformation that we've received about dating, it does need to be talked about and reinforced, the concepts of what we need as women and as Christian women. Much information, so my goal is to kind of counter that, the like movements when it comes to dating and dating advice and work and life advice, the let them theory and the sprinkle theory and all of these different perspectives on how to live life. That a way to do it in a godly Christian way. Reading your Bible is key and it's going to be your foundation. However, if I'm honest, there have been times where I would be going through an experience at work, dealing with something like friends or relationships and dating, and I would go to my Bible and I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm not seeing the message. It's just not that obvious. And I would just feel like I was just reading the book and it just wasn't sticking. I feel like I want this to kind of be a testimony, but also a guide, so that you don't feel like you're going to the Bible and you're just like, well, okay, but what should I actually do? The answer's in there, but I think this video could also help you. I have all of my notes on my iPad. I'm going to jump right in. Okay. So the first tip that I have is going to be more specifically related to dating and dating men. Not chasing man, you should be chasing God. I don't know where this concept, I think it starts when you're kids or when you're a little girl and your family or your friends or your brothers and sisters like, oh, do you have a crush on a boy? And then you just start going on and just talking about them and you like them and everything about them. And I feel like that mentality kind of needs to die, kind of needs to end. It needs to stop. There is legitimately no reason to ever chase a man in your life, like absolutely not. To live your life is just to grow yourself, and I'm going to talk about that a lot in the video, but it's just this understanding that you should be attracting, you should be improving yourself, you should be doing anything that you can, but the act of going out and being masculine and chasing someone else, it's just not going to suit you. It's just not valuable. There is very little value in doing so, and there are so many other things to focus on. So that's the first tip, which actually leads into the second tip, which is to improve yourself. Improving yourself should be your focus. It is very difficult to invest in yourself and then think that it was a waste. Generally speaking, if you are investing in yourself in any capacity, you are going to reap a benefit. Whereas oftentimes, if you are investing in a relationship, especially if you're not married to this person and you are just building this person up and you are just helping them in every capacity to the point that it's draining you and you're exhausted and you're overwhelmed and you are not doing anything for yourself, you could eventually look back on your life and realize, okay, this relationship ended, and then ask yourself what you have to show for it. Now, I would not consider that time wasted, because I feel as though anytime you were serving someone or having a loving heart or in, learning a lesson, it is not a waste. This concept of focusing and pouring into someone else and not pouring into yourself is just not a wise decision. You need to really look at yourself and growing yourself. And one thing I do agree with, or a few points that I would say that I agree with the sprinkle movement, is just really big on, you need to improve yourself. You should be growing your appearance, you should be getting your hair done, your nails done, you should be working on your fashion sense, you should be working on your confidence, your posture, your walk, your just self-esteem, your general self-esteem. You should be improving yourself so much that you are just this formidable, amazing person, and you definitely have the time to do so. These tips kind of like roll into each other, so it kind of ties into the third tip, which is just that main character energy, but it's that mentality that you can afford to do something. Like if you're not focusing on yourself, then you're focusing on someone else, and it's like, what gives them the right to be the main character of your story? You only have to accept the fact that this is your life and you are an amazing person. Now, when I say main character energy, I don't mean that you're not serving others, that you're not helping anyone else, that you just, when you walk into a room, you just like all eyes on you and you're just the most important thing and everyone is less than you. Mentality of you are just as equally qualified and relevant to be the main character of your story, just like someone is equally qualified and relevant to be the main character of their story. So why would you let someone else be the main character of your story if they have their own life? Like, not selfish, not put me first, not like, I don't believe in that at all. But when you're living your life, you need to pour into yourself. There are so many things that you could focus on that would make you better, that would make the world better, opposed to focusing on someone else. Like, I highly recommend pausing this video and making a list of 20 things that you could focus on that would just make this world a better place. Always have time to be a better sister, a better daughter, a better friend, a better cousin, brother, mother. There's so many areas that you could hyper focus your attention on, genuinely pour into those around you. Oftentimes we have like those around us that we love, so focused on something else, and it's like that person that is next to you, that is like looking up to you, could truly benefit from you like spending time with them, taking them out, taking them shopping, telling them that you love them, taking them to church. Like, there are so many opportunities in your own life to spread love with those around you that you don't need to focus on someone else. Like, side point to go along with the main character energy is just like, show up as if you are this like great, not perfect, but show up as if you are this amazing person. Like, you just have to learn to embody this energy of, I am equally qualified to be in this space. I am equally qualified to be confident. I am equally qualified to be loved. Like, every time you walk into a space, you don't need to diminish yourself. You just need to see yourself as an equal of anyone else in that space. The next tip that I have has to do with more of like how you carry yourself. I notice this a lot. You are much more confident and exhibit high levels of self-esteem when you move slower, intentionally, and you're just confident and you have good posture and you're just very just articulate. It seems to be this like feeling where, I don't know if it's just like a woman thing or it's just like, I don't know where it comes from, like belief that you have to be rushed and jittery and always late and running around and frantic, and you are already late. I don't see the need to be all jittery and rushed and anxious. Like, it's already done. I think that the mentality of being intentional, obviously the goal is to be on time, but it's not to go through life with a frantic, chaotic, always just stressed out mentality. Like, confidence and self-esteem is just, no matter what you're doing, you just move with a very intentional spirit and a very intentional just way about yourself. I think that we believe that if we do something wrong, or if we are, forgetting of something, or we're behind or running late or confused or something, that we have to now outwardly show it, and it's not always the case. If you are like overwhelmed, or let's say you're getting ready to do a public speech and you're anxious, you're not going to make the speech better by showing up and being more anxious. You're going to be better off just talking in a very intentional, methodical way. If speech were to somehow be horrible, if you were to compare like a scenario of someone being anxious and horrible speech versus someone being calm with a horrible speech, I feel like the one that's calm is just going to probably have like a better received than the other one, like bring them back to back. So it's like, if you just know that confidence is just going to be shown outwardly and start working on those things, it will just make you feel so much better, and it just, those around you will just receive you a lot better as well. The next tip that I have is actually really important, and I noticed this a lot in some of the share videos that I would watch, where the girl or a girl would comment and be like, but what about this other girl that someone likes? And she would be like, why do you care? And I think that this is a mentality that you have to have whenever you are in a situation where you feel the urge to be jealous or envious or concerned about someone else. You have to really evaluate it and train yourself not to care or be intimidated by another person. You are unique, you are special, you are a God-given wonderful person. God made you this way for a reason. Like, there are so many blessings and lessons and life experiences that you have that are so different from someone else. It doesn't make sense to be worried or concerned about someone else. If someone else that you're dating or even at work or any environment that you're in is so pressed and concerned about someone else and they like this person or care so much about this person, that is their prerogative. It doesn't make you less than valuable. It doesn't make you less worthy. All it does is reflect what that person feels. You have to learn to actively choose not to focus your energy on someone else. You want to focus your energy again back on step number 2 or 1, I can't recall, which is just improving yourself. You just focus on improving yourself. You focusing on someone else is a distraction from you focusing on being a better version of yourself. You can't control what someone else does, but you can control what you do, and that's where the money is. That's where the power is. That's where the influence is. It's in focusing on the things that you can control for yourself. Not only that, it makes you more attractive when you aren't focused on someone else. It makes you look even better. It makes you even more valuable as a woman because it shows that there's nothing that someone else can do to rattle you. There's nothing that someone else can do to make you feel less than, and it just elevates you even more. Next step that I have is kind of, I think I kind of got like some inspo from Shara on this one as well. So I live my life this way after being a YouTuber and making content. So it's kind of a mix of what she said in one of our videos and then just kind of like a lesson that I've learned. To imagine yourself in a movie and you could replay instances back. How would you want to react to those scenarios? So for example, one thing I always tell myself when I was younger, I don't know what it was, but I used to always be like afraid of like slipping or tripping in front of a bunch of people. I think maybe once, maybe when I was younger, I tripped once. And I remember telling myself, if I were in a movie and I saw myself trip, I would want to be that person that like gets up and like flips their hair and like does it in a way that you're like, she tripped and she just like got back up and didn't care and didn't let it phase her. I want that to be the scene of like something embarrassing or negative happened to her and she refused to even let it bat an eye towards it. You have to live your life. You want to think about the reactions that you make. Like another good example is like, let's say you have a boyfriend and you catch your boyfriend cheating. Do you want to be the person who is yelling and shouting and screaming and cursing at them and crying in the corner? Or do you, like, how do you want to play back your life? And when you play it back, you want to be the confident, mature woman that's like, okay, I see that's what you wanted and I have peace with that and I'm okay and I'm gonna find better. And you walk away and then it's like drops mic and everything is amazing and everyone's clapping. And it's like, that is how I want to live my life. I want to live my life that even though someone isn't actually actively watching it per se as if they were watching a movie, I'm going to live it in a way that if someone were to hear my story, they would be inspired and encouraged by how I reacted, how I had self-esteem, how I valued myself, because I just want to exude that. And I feel like for my children and my future, I want that mentality to be passed on to them as well. I want to be the person who gives up for the day because they had a small faux pas or error or a little mistake that happened. The tip that I have is to not care what others think about you, and this needs to be actively reinforced. I know, like for myself, I go through periods of time where I am not concerned about what others think, and then a moment where it's like stress or anxiety or like something will happen and it's like, no, but you should, no, but you should, no, but you should, and it's like this voice that's in the back of my head, or like, and it's just telling me that. And so then over time I'll start to be concerned about it, and then I'll be worried. But I listen to a lot of David Goggins, and it's like, you truly need to not care what other people think. Like, you are going to reach a point in an age in your life, and you're gonna look back and say, I did not do so many things because I was worried about people who don't care about you or don't pay that much attention. I started making YouTube videos. I used to be worried, and I could make, this was like what I would tell myself back then, but it's like, I could look back 5 years from now and be a millionaire from making YouTube videos. But I am gonna tell myself, no, I didn't, because one person or a couple people that I don't like or that I work with, I was worried about their opinion. And it's like, so I'm gonna tell my future me that I couldn't do it because of somebody that I don't really care about is convincing me not to. And when you think about the trajectory of where you could be, and you allow somebody that is very minor in your life, like a blip in your life, prevent you from doing something, it starts to change your perspective. There are things like, even a good example when it comes to work, you do the tips that I mentioned in the beginning, which is improve yourself, walk confidently, have good posture, high self-esteem. If you are pouring into yourself that much, I truly guarantee that others' opinions will just shrink in comparison, or it should shrink in comparison. Their opinion of you does not equal truth. When you are so worried about someone else's opinion, you need to value your opinion more. There are things that you can improve upon. That doesn't mean that you never take criticism. That doesn't mean that you never grow in faith and try to be a better person. But it means that their opinion is their opinion, and they're allowed to have their opinion. It goes back to the previous tip, which is you're just as equally qualified to have an opinion as they are. And an opinion about yourself, when you are yourself, that's deep, is going to be way more valuable and way more accurate than someone who's just seeing the outside. Next tip that I have is, it's kind of like weirdly written, but energy on getting better after a setback. So one of my favorite tips that my godmother actually gave me was, whenever something bad or negative happens to you, you want to take it like a champ. Take it like, all right, where's my pen and paper, and what is my game plan? You want to draw it out, sketch it out. What are you going to do afterwards? You don't have something negative happen to you and then decide, okay, it's happened, I'm giving up now. One thing that's guaranteed in life is you're going to have a setback. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days, but you're going to have bad days too. So if you have a bad day, instead of just throwing in the towel and assuming you have a bad life, take out a piece of paper and be like, all right, let's get after it. What could I have done better? What did I do well? What is my plan for tomorrow? What is my plan for this month, for this year? What are you going to do to genuinely improve? And when you start taking setbacks and breaking them apart, you remove the power that they have over you. I highly encourage is that take a list, again, pause this video if you need to, and write down 10 things that you would consider are holding you back or overwhelming you or setbacks, because sometimes we have like these subconscious setbacks that we don't even realize are holding us back. We're like, oh no, like I don't know why I didn't want to, clean my room, and it's like this actual thing that's holding you back, but you don't even associate it as a negative or as a setback. So a list of things that you think that actually might be hurting you, or if you, especially if you have like a depression or something like that, start taking your problems and your obstacles and solving them and planning around them. David Goggins promotes in a different way, he phrases it, but it's like no one is going to save you. Like to save you, but when you are alive, when you're praying, you pray to God, but you have to pray and plan and figure something out. You need to write it out. What are you going to do next? What are you going to stick to? What are you going to be consistent with? What are you going to pray about? What are you going to fight for? You have to treat your setbacks as a battle against yourself. And if you want to improve, you need to take it seriously. The next tip that I have has to do with the concept of a pygmesia, which I was on the fence if I even wanted to include this tip in this video. It can take on so many different like phrases and concepts. I would define a pygmesia as someone who undervalues themselves, wants to be chosen, and does things so that other people like them and want them, but actually it has no genuine benefit for them. I would recommend that you try to avoid that mentality. Do things just because it's somehow going to get you liked. Focus on being respected. You need to focus on having standards. You need to focus on being yourself instead of trying to be chosen by devaluing yourself. There's that too. The next step that I have has to do with having standards. This is so important when it comes to dating because it can feel like it is so difficult to go through dating. So easy to want to lower your standards, but you have to really, this is what I tell myself. It's a little weird, and I'm very like scenario driven, and I think about like situations. The way that I look at it is if there were only 2 men and 2 women remaining on earth and myself, there'd be 3 women left and 2 men left. And the 2 men remaining were lazy, they were mean, they were rude, and they were unattractive. Or even if one of them was attractive and the other one wasn't. And there were 2 other women there, and there was less of women and a lack of men. Rather, even in a fake scenario, be by myself and live a life content by myself rather than fight for a man that I felt like was not at my level. And this is a fake scenario where there isn't this genuinely small number of people on earth. If that were genuinely the case, and I wouldn't even do it then, what makes you think I would do it now? You have to train yourself not to be so obsessed with another person. My video died as I got closer to the end, which is why the backdrop is a little bit different. But I just wanted to finish up with the last tips, which were having standards. Going back to the scenario of if there was no one else on earth and you had to choose, like, I would still choose me. An conversation needs to be had with yourself. You need to ask yourself, if you were in that boat, what would you do? Because once you realize that, you realize like the value that your standards have compared to sacrificing your standards and lowering yourself and chasing after anybody. You need to learn to have what you and care about what you value and understand that what you value actually matters. Sometimes we're so quick to things that we value and then we constantly lower them and lower them. But you have to understand, I'm saying this to you guys, but I'm also saying it as like encouragement. Things that you want, if you are constantly working at being better and you constantly see yourself as a great, amazing catch in so many areas, you have to understand there is someone who is equally yoked. There is someone who is at your level who would be amazed and grateful to have you. That you have to be with a bum or somebody who just not going to appreciate you is not the truth. Like, that is not it for you. It's only it if you choose that life, but you can either choose to be alone and grateful, or you can choose to be by yourself with someone that you're not able to yoke with, or you can just choose to wait and hope for the best. My last tip for this video is to understand that your energy is your choice. You can choose to focus your energy on anything, but choose to focus on things that are going to build you up, things that are going to matter. I have constantly caught myself focusing my energy on things that are a waste of time, literally a waste of energy. Like, why did this person say that to me? And replaying it in my head over and over again. And there comes this time where I learned to say, wait a minute, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. It's not the end of the world. I can actively choose to place my energy in something else that matters, that is relevant, that is aligned with me. You don't have to choose these things. Like, this concept really needs to resonate with you, because it's something that I know is difficult. I've struggled with it before. Every now and then I'll struggle with it now, but it's that mentality of you don't have to focus your energy. Like, a good example, it's like made up, but it's like how I imagine like dating nowadays are. Like, you come home and your husband, you change your hairstyle, and your husband like doesn't compliment it, and you're like, oh, he thinks I'm ugly, and it's like, you don't have to focus your energy on that. Why are, like, you have a choice. You could choose to put your energy on a completely different thing, a project. You could take that energy, read a book, redirect to things that are obsessively compulsive and are like obsessively overwhelming you, that you're just replaying scenarios in your head. Like, it is such a minor blip. Like, it is so tiny and irrelevant that if you focus your energy on something that is just way more significant, you're going to reap the benefits of it. Like constantly check yourself for that, because you'd be amazed at how much better you'll feel. Like, I've done it so many times. Like, it's just like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. I can focus on something else. Or like, it's like, another good example is like, let's say you're driving and someone like this. Let me imagine a scenario. You're driving in traffic, someone cuts you off and then like gives you the bird and is like cussing at you, and it's all their fault. Like, imagine just this happens, and you're like, I can't believe it. And you spend the whole day, I can't believe that person did that. That was the craziest thing. Why would they do that? That it, like, ruminating. That was so messed up. They are evil. I'm not a bad driver. They're a bad driver. How dare they? And the whole day, someone comes up and you tell this story. Did you guess what this morning this person cut? And they probably did. They were wrong. They were guilty. For the sake of the argument, that person was like in the wrong. But what do you gain replaying that scenario, focusing on that? What if you had a presentation at work that day? What if you had a meeting, an open house, anything more significant, but instead you chose to focus your energy on that? Learn to choose to redirect your energy onto things that actually are worth your attention and that matter. You know, sometimes like work and you just get overwhelmed, and it's like, I don't want to be depressed because of them. I don't want to be angry because of them. I want to have joy today. I want to be in a good mood today. So constantly, if you live your life like that in dating and relationships at work, I guarantee you'll start to notice the difference. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I apologize for my camera dying and for like the weird shift. Also, let me know if you like this angle better than the first angle, because I'm not really sure. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like it and consider subscribing to my channel. Bye!